This
Yesterday's
conference will
session we
now
were
be
discussing
recorded.
regarding the P2P cycle. So we discussed the step number 1, that is create purchase requisition. So the purchase requisitions can be created manually and via a material requirement planning program. That is what we discussed during the initial session of the procure to pay cycle. Then we also discussed about the vendor selection process. Then the step number 3 is we discussed create various procurement documents, right? So when I say various procurement documents, those are nothing but the two categories of the procurement documents. One is a contract and the second one is a outline agreement, right? Within the outline agreement we have a contract. Within the contract we have a value contract and a quantity contract. Then we have scheduling agreement. Within the scheduling agreement we have scheduling agreement without release and scheduling agreement with release. Then we have create purchase order. So these are the categories of the documents which we are going to create against a selected vendor, right? So then what is a contract, right? When I say a contract, can anyone tell what is the meaning of the contract? What is a contract? So contract is nothing but a long-term agreement between a company and a between a company and a external vendor known as a supplier, right? So contract is nothing but contract is nothing but contract one minute. Contract is a long-term agreement. It is a long-term agreement between and a supplier or a vendor. So when I say contract is nothing but a long-term agreement between a company and a supplier or vendor. So it will have a validity start date and end date, right? It will have validity start and end date and a validity end date. Means if you see in India, contracts will normally have a 12 months tenure or 3 months tenure or 9 months tenure or a 6 months tenure like that. Normally in India, the contracts will be started negotiating during the financial year start, like start date of the contract is, let us say, so start date is, let us say 01/04/2022. Let us say this is the present financial year. The present financial year is already running, so it started during 01/04/2022 and it is going to end date is 31/03/2023, right? So we will have a start date and end date, right? So every contract will have a start date and end date. Normally in India, a contract will start on 01/04 and it is going to end on 31/03. It will have a 1 year validity period mostly, right? So it is nothing but a contract which will have a validity start date and validity end date, and it is a long-term agreement between a company and the purchasing organization of a department against a supplier. Then what is a quantity contract? Quantity contract means you will have agreement between a company and a supplier in terms of quantity, which is nothing but a quantity contract. Like there is a company known as a Tata Group, and there is a supplier known as LG Electronics. Right, so LG Electronics is trying to buy a TV. Let us say LG Electronics is selling a TV to Tata Group for 1,000 pieces. Right, there will be a contract between LG company and a Tata Group in terms of 1 lakh pieces of the TV needs to be supplied between the start date of 0104 and end date of 3103. So if the contract is in terms of quantity of the material that is being purchased by a Tata Group, it will be called as a quantity based contract. Then what is a value contract? Value contract means there will be an agreement between a Tata Group and LG Electronics in terms of value of the material. Let us say LG Electronics is supplying TVs to Tata Group to an amount of, let us say, 10 lakhs worth between a period of 0104 to 3103. Right, so this is known as a value contract. The agreement between a supplier and the company is in terms of value of the materials that are being supplied. Then we will call that particular contract as a value based contract. Right, it can be a quantity based contract or it can be a value based contract. So based upon the type of the material you are buying, you can create a value based contract or a quantity based contract for a particular material. So in case of contract, you will simply create a contract and hand over that particular contract to the vendor. Right, so you are not going to give the delivery schedules to the vendor. Right, let us say I have created a contract for bearing. I have an agreement between a vendor, LG Electronics and the Tata Group to supply 1 lakh bearings, and I created this particular contract as on 01042022 and gave it to the vendor and gave it to LG Electronics. But I will not specify when to deliver this 1 lakh pieces. I just gave the contract and keep quiet as an information to the vendor, but I will not specify when to deliver this particular 1 lakh pieces to my company premises. Right, so in contract, no delivery schedules in advance. In advance, in case of contract, no delivery schedules in advance. Instead, whenever there is a actual requirement of the material in my company, I will instruct the vendor to supply the materials against the contract which I have given. Right, so let us say I have raised a contract for 1 lakh pieces against LG Electronics. Right, then a production department person came to me and he requested to have 50,000 bearings for his production processes. Then I will instruct the vendor to supply the 50,000 pieces against the contract which I have given. Then based upon that instructions, the vendor is going to supply the material of 50,000 bearings to me. Means he will not deliver, I will not give any advanced delivery schedules against a contract. Instead, only whenever I require material, that time only I am instructing the vendor to supply the bearings or the material that are requested by a production department. So this particular process will be called as a contract. Then what is a scheduling agreement? Scheduling agreement also one type of contract only. It will also have a validity start date and it will also have a validity end date. Right? It will have a start date and it will also have a validity end date. So it is also like a contract only where a Tata Group is ordering LG Electronics of 1 lakh pieces, right? 1 lakh pieces of the bearings. So Tata Group is ordering 1 lakh pieces of the bearings, right? So a scheduling agreement will be created for 1 lakh pieces and that scheduling agreement will be given to the vendor along with the delivery schedules known as a delivery scheduling agreement, right? Like one along with this particular contract, there will be a delivery schedules as well. Let us say today I created a contract, right, for 1 lakh pieces. Immediately along with the contract, I will also give the delivery schedules, right? Like how much quantity that needs to be supplied by a vendor on what date, who is nothing but a delivery schedules. Let us say today I have given the contract and I will ask the vendor to supply on 10, 12, 25,000 pieces. Again on 15, 12, 25,000 pieces. And 2012, 25,000 pieces. And 3112 again 25,000 pieces. So I created the contract. Along with the contract, I will also give the delivery schedules to the vendor so that he will follow the delivery schedules which I have given and he will deliver the materials accordingly to my company premises, right? Which is nothing but a scheduling agreement. Then what else we have? So then the next activity is a purchase order. What is a purchase order? Purchase order is a one-time procurement document. Purchase order is a one-time procurement document. Right, so purchase order is a one-time procurement document. Right, so let me see. So per one-time procurement document. Right, so purchase order is a one-time procurement document. It is not like a contract where you will have the validity start date and validity end date. Right, purchase order is a one-time procurement document That means it will not have a 1 year validity or 2 months validity or 6 months validity. Instead, let us say today I need 10,000 pieces, right? Today I need 10,000 pieces. Then what I will do? Immediately I will create a one purchase order, and against that particular purchase order, vendor deliver the material, and I will process the payment, and the purchase order is closed, right? Purchase order is now closed. So that means it is a one-time procurement document. It will not have a validity start or validity end date, right? It will not have a validity start date and a validity end date, right? So I raised one purchase order, vendor delivered the material, and I made the payment. Then that particular purchase order is closed forever. So it will not have a validity end date or validity start date like in case of the contract. So this is nothing but a purchase order. Then what else? What is the next activity? So the next activity is any doubts on the purchase order or the contract or the scheduling agreement? Are you able to understand? Right? Any doubts, Sandeep and Archana? Can you hear me? Okay. What about Archana? Do you have any doubts in understanding the purchase order or the contract or the scheduling agreement? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Are you there in the call? Hello?
Sir, we can hear. I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, what about Archana? Okay. Archana, are you there in the call? Okay. So then, so this is the step number 4, the step number 3 of the procurement cycle, right? So I just wanted to give you some brief understanding. What is a contract? What is a value contract and the quantity contract? What is a scheduling agreement? And what is a purchase order, right? But when we are proceeding into the further sessions, we will be able to understand in detail the each and every we are going to discuss about regarding the each and every step in the coming sessions, right? So then what is the step number 4 of the procurement cycle? So the step number 4 of the procurement cycle is purchase order monitoring or the procurement documents monitoring, right? We have created various procurement documents, right? Like we created a contract, we created a scheduling agreement, we created a purchase order. So these documents needs to be monitored, right? So the step number 5 of the procurement, 4 of the procurement cycle is purchase order monitoring, right? So let me save this particular document, demo on 0512. So the step number 4 of the procurement cycle is purchase order monitoring or PO monitoring, right? So what is, you created a contract, you created a scheduling agreement, you created a purchase order, and you gave these documents to the vendor. right? So if you keep quiet that you have created the documents and gave it to the vendor, that is not the end. You need to make follow-ups to the vendor so that he will give priority to your orders and he will be able to deliver the materials in time for the orders which you have given, right? So the step number 4 of the procurement cycle is monitoring of the procurement documents. Procurement documents. Right? Monitoring means you just need to make the follow-ups. Sometimes you need to call the vendor, right? Manual follow-up means you need to take a phone and call the vendor whether he is delivering the materials or not against the purchase order which you have given. Or sometimes you can mail it to him stating that whether he is able to deliver the if he is able to deliver the materials within the prescribed limit or not. Or sometimes you need to go to the vendor's location personally and discuss with the vendor whether he is able to deliver the materials or not, right? Sometimes I have worked for one of the purchasing department. Then we used to go to the vendor and sit over there for 10 days, 15 days and ask him to deliver the material. So we used to do the follow-ups like that as well. We used to continuously sit in front of the him and try to discuss according to him as well. We used to discuss with him and we need to pressurize him and try to make him that he will be delivering the materials within the prescribed limit what we have agreed with him. So we also used to do like that activity as well, which is nothing but a manual follow-up or automatic follow-up as well, right? Automatic follow-up means in SAP there is one program known as a Dunning procedure. Dunning process, right? So the Dunning process, right, means it is like your let us say you have taken one of the LIC policy, right? You take one LIC policy, right? If you take the LIC policy, you need to make the yearly payments, right? Right. So yearly payments you have to do it. The renewal payments, right? Let us say I have taken the LIC policy and my payment renewal date is 31/01/2023. So LIC company will start sending the reminders, right? They will send one reminder on first of January 2023. They will call you or they will send an email there. They will send a notification automatically that is known as reminder number 1. Again on 10th of January they will send reminder 2. On 20th of January they will send reminder 3. On 30th of January they will send one more reminder, right? Reminder 4. So all these things are system driven. They are not sending manually. Instead, all these reminders are sending automatically. So automatically it will be sending by the system automatically, right? So which is known as a manual, which is known as a dunning process. In SAP also we have a program known as a dunning program, which is also will be sending the reminders to the suppliers based upon some regular intervals. Let us say I created a PO today. In the PO, I specified the delivery date as 3103, 3101 2023, right? So again, my program will send reminder 1 on 1st of January and 10th of January, second reminder, and 20th of January, third reminder, and 30th of January, fourth reminder. Right, so which is known as a dunning program. It will also send the automatic reminders on its own, which will be called as a dunning process or a dunning program, which will send the reminders to the vendors automatically based upon the regular intervals. So this particular process of sending reminders to the vendors manually or via a dunning program will be called as a monitoring of the procurement documents and the dunning process. So then what is the step? Any doubts in the step number 4? Any doubts do you have in the step number 4?
So the dunning process is in programming language, sir, or it is in like application in the module?
It includes program as well as it includes a transaction code assigned to it. So you just need to execute that particular transaction code so that it will automatically trigger the reminder mails accordingly.
Sir, for that we have to learn that programming, sir, or the code is enough
Programming, you are a functional consultant, right? So you are not going to learn any program. You will try to
for the dunning
educate
process.
that. You just need to educate the team, or you just need to how to execute the program. You just need to know. But the programming part, you need not to worry. Let us say I'm just executing this transaction, right? As a functional consultant, we are not going to do any programming part. We just how the by using that particular program, how a transaction is executing, all those things we will do it. Let us say create purchase order is one transaction. How to create a purchase order, I will tell to the business, right, as a functional consultant. But what program is there in the backend, that will be taken care by a technical consultants. We need not to worry, right? We need not to worry how a program is backend working, or if you have any problems with the program, then you just need to discuss with the technical team. They will help you out, right? So that is how it works. Am I able to clear your doubt?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, then what else? So then what is the step number 5? So the step number 5 in the procurement cycle is a goods receipt process, right? So the step number 5 in the is a goods receipt process. Goods receipt process. What is a goods receipt process? Let us say you created a order, you gave it to the vendor. Vendor will manufacture the materials against your order, and he will load those materials into one of the truck. Let us say vendor is located in Hyderabad and your company is located in Vijayawada. So he will load the materials whatever he prepared, and he will try to deliver. He will load the material into one of the truck. He will also prepare one excise copy or invoice copy. He will also prepare one delivery challan, and he will hand over the delivery challan and the invoice copy to the vendor, truck driver, and truck driver will bring the truck to the manufacturing plant or the company which is located in Vijayawada. Right, so then that particular truck will report at the stores department of the company. Once the truck is reported at the stores department, the truck driver, the stores department people will cross check the truck, and they will unload the material from the truck into the stores department. Right, so they will unload the material into the stores, and they will then they will keep the material in one of the inspection area. Right, so the vendor sent the material, so I need to unload the material into the stores, and my quality department people will come, and they will check whether the material received is as per the quality parameters of the company or not. Let us say I received 1000 materials. Right, I received 1000 materials. My quality department accepted 850 materials are okay, and 150 materials are not accepted. They are not as per our quality parameters. Right, then 150 pieces will be rejected by a quality department. So once my quality verification is completely done, we need to process the goods receipt step within SAP. Right, so I have to process a goods receipt for 1000 pieces. After goods receipt is completed, I need to accept 850 pieces. So I will accept 850 pieces. I will accept 850 pieces, and I will reject 150 pieces in SAP, which is known as a goods receipt process. Right, so when you do a goods receipt process, what will happen? Like we have created in step number 1 the purchase requisition. In the step number 2, we did vendor selection process. In step number 3, we have created purchase order, purchase contract, we created scheduling agreement. So all these documents like purchase requisition, request for quotation, contract, scheduling agreement, purchase order, these are the documents where there is no integration coming into picture. Means it will not have any impact. You just created a purchase order. That's it. It is not have any impact on the finance, or it is not having any impact on the other modules. Right? 1 minute. Hello. right? So we have the, there is no integration, right? So like purchase requisition request, you just created a requisition, that's it. It will not have any impact it will not have any impact on the other modules like finance or quality management or production planning, etc., right? But when you create a goods receipt, there will be a financial postings at the finance module. Also there will be a inventory module updates will happen. So finance integration and inventory management integration will come over here when you do a goods receipt process. Inventory management integration will follow at goods receipt process, right? So when you do a goods receipt, there will be a finance integration as well as inventory management module integration will be coming into picture. So how that particular integration will come into picture, we will see when we are actually processing this particular scenario in SAP system, right? So then we have the step number 6. What is the step number 6 of the procurement cycle? So the step number 6 of the procurement cycle is invoice verification process. Invoice verification process means you have received 850 pieces in good condition, so you need to make the payment to the vendor, right? Let us say vendor supplied 850 pieces. Each piece is, let us say, some 1000 rupees, right? So what is the total amount of invoice amount? That is 850,000, right? So this is the total invoice amount needs to be paid to the vendor by the company for the 850 pieces that are being supplied, right? So you need to process this particular invoice verification in SAP as one of the step known as invoice verification process, so that the vendor as a step number 6. Then what is step number 7? So the step number 7 is payment run. So the step number 7 is payment run. So payment run means, let us say you are liable to make a payment of 85,000 rupees to the vendor, right, for the material that is being supplied, right? So when you run the payment run, so an amount of 8 lakhs 50,000, right? 8 lakh 50,000 rupees will be debited from company account, and at the same time 8 lakhs 50,000 will be credited to vendor bank account. Vendor bank account, right? So this is the step number 7. Okay, so this is the complete cycle of the P2P cycle. Like we will have step numbers 1, create purchase requisition. Step number 2, vendor selection process. Step number 3, create various procurement documents like purchase order, contract and scheduling agreement and the request for quotation. Then step number 4 is follow up activity. Then step number 5 is goods receipt process, and step number 6 is invoice verification process, and step number 7 is the payment run. So this is the complete end-to-end cycle known as a P2P cycle or a procure to pay cycle, right? So this particular cycle is the basis for all our procurement transactions which we are going to perform in our SAP materials management module, which we are going to discuss further, right? Any doubts, Sandeep or Archana?
No, sir.
Right, so, okay, so then, okay, Sandeep, where are you from? Are you from Hyderabad?
Uh, Hello.
Where are you joining? Are you joining from Hyderabad or somewhere?
Present I'm in Hyderabad only, sir, but I'm from Visakhapatnam.
Okay, you are from Visakhapatnam. Okay, okay. Okay, then we will meet tomorrow regarding the further sessions. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then. Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah, we will meet tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye. I am closing the session. Thanks.